The air was cool and fragrant as the disciples gathered beneath the shade of towering bamboo trees. A gentle wind carried whispers through the grove, and the soft hum of the forest enveloped them. Buddha gazed into their eyes. Seeing their anticipation, he began speaking, his voice calm yet imbued with undeniable wisdom. "Blessed One," Ananda began, "my heart feels lost and my mind heavy with confusion. I am disconnected from my true self." His words hung in the air, and the other disciples shifted in quiet contemplation. The Buddha turned his serene gaze toward Ananda, his eyes reflecting infinite compassion. Despite the traveler's intentions, it bites, its venom causing him pain and agony. The traveler hopes the snake will change. He holds on, yearning for transformation, but its strikes continue unabated. "Now, my disciples, what should this traveler do?" Buddha asked, his voice soft, inviting introspection into the dilemma presented. The disciples exchanged glances, contemplating the traveler's predicament. One brave voice rose amidst their collective silence. "Master, the traveler must release the snake. Holding on to it only brings suffering." Despite his desire for change, Buddha nodded, his serene gaze affirming the disciples' insight. He continued, elaborating on the poignant metaphor. "In life, toxic relationships mirror the poisonous snake. They harm the spirit, cloud the mind, and weigh the heart heavily. Letting go is not cruelty but compassion. It recognizes the impossibility of altering another's nature against their inherent tendencies. Compassion extends both ways. The traveler's release allows the snake to return to its rightful place." The wild forest. True freedom comes not from clinging but from releasing that which poisons our existence, draining vitality from our soul. The disciples absorbed his words deeply, realizing their applicability to struggles in their own lives. The teaching resonated universally. Buddha turned his gaze upward, his expression tranquil, as though reflecting on a greater universal truth beyond words. "In holding on to toxicity, we fear loneliness, loss, or emptiness. Yet emptiness can birth clarity, the path to inner peace. Clinging blinds us to the beauty of impermanence. Releasing illuminates the truth. That liberation begins within, by choosing serenity over suffering." A young disciple hesitated, raising his voice with trembling courage. "Master, how does one find strength to release what binds?" Buddha's eyes softened, his tone gentle as the morning breeze. The Buddha then gestured to the forest around them. "Look at these trees, Ananda. Understanding transforms fear into acceptance. Acceptance ushers in clarity, empowering the spirit to seek paths leading to peace. The snake deserves neither hatred nor affection. Its nature remains as it is, unchanged, unmoved, neither good nor evil. Release does not seek revenge nor demand closure. It simply aligns existence with the truth of impermanence." The disciples listened, their thoughts intertwining with Buddha's wisdom, weaving their own resolutions alongside his teachings. "Now I ask you to reflect, what venom do you allow to reside within your heart? What ties weigh down your soul?" By acknowledging the presence of toxicity, you plant the seed of liberation. Self-awareness blooms into strength and understanding. Buddha paused, allowing silence to envelop his disciples, guiding their reflections through the tranquility of the moment. The traveler who lets go regains his path, his freedom, his journey toward the horizon unburdened by pain and regret. And you, dear disciples, can do the same. Let go of what harms you. Let go of the poisonous snake. Step forward into the light of the future, choosing compassion and release over clinging and suffering. The choice is yours. Buddha's voice faded into the silence, yet his wisdom lingered, carrying the echoes of liberation within his disciples' hearts. Under the Bodhi tree, the sunlight shimmered like scattered jewels, as though the universe embraced the profoundness of his truth. Another day, beneath the serene sky, Buddha stood by a calm lotus pond, its surface reflecting light like polished glass. His disciples gathered around him, their faces expectant, eager to absorb his teachings like a dry earth awaiting rain. Buddha held a small, polished mirror in his hand, its surface gleaming under the soft glow of the morning light. "Look into this mirror," Buddha said, raising it gently, his voice calm yet carrying an undeniable weight of significance and wisdom. Each disciple gazed into the mirror, their reflections appearing as clear and unchangeable as the light they stood in. "Master, I see myself," one disciple said, his tone tinged with curiosity, as though unraveling a mystery yet unseen. Buddha smiled gently, nodding in acknowledgement. "Indeed," he replied, his tone serene yet carrying an undercurrent of profound depth. "This mirror reflects truth. It reveals what resides within. Whether peace, anger, joy, or fear," Buddha said, his voice steady. "What you see is not altered by the mirror but by the essence within your own heart and mind," he added. "Toxic relationships, my disciples, are like mirrors. They reveal truths about us, unmasking fears, insecurities, and attachments we often ignore. Do not merely see the reflection but seek to understand its origin. Be patient with yourself, for the path unfolds in its own time." The grove seemed to come alive, the rustling leaves and murmuring stream creating a symphony that echoed the Buddha's words. Would this man's blame cleanse the dirt? Or must he wash his face to see a reflection unsoiled? Buddha questioned softly. Similarly, when we see pain or toxicity reflected, we must turn inward. Change begins within, not from altering the mirror. Toxicity in relationships often stems from our fears. Fear of loneliness, loss, or facing the truths hidden within. Buddha continued. To break free, you must recognize these fears and insecurities. Only by understanding them can you transcend their binding grip. A disciple hesitated, his voice breaking the thoughtful silence. "Master, how do we overcome such fears and find peace?" Buddha's gaze softened, his answer flowing like the gentle breeze swaying the lotus flowers nearby. "Through self-awareness and compassion. Compassion for yourself, for recognizing your struggle. Compassion for others, for understanding they too are trapped by their nature. Let this mirror teach you. Do not judge what it reveals. Learn from it, grow, and transform the image you see. Do not seek to destroy the mirror. Instead, cleanse your heart, and the reflection will naturally align with your inner truth." True liberation arises when the image reflected no longer binds your mind. When you can see clearly and love freely. The disciples nodded slowly, their expressions indicating that Buddha's words resonated deeply within, planting seeds of understanding and self-reflection. Buddha placed the mirror upon the ground, its reflective surface catching the light and casting faint patterns upon the grass. "Consider the pond before us," Buddha said, gesturing to the still waters, his voice carrying the calmness of the setting. "When the water is still, it reflects the sky, the trees, the world, yet disturbances ripple and distort its clarity. Your mind is like this pond. When calm, it reflects truth. When disturbed, it distorts, showing fragmented and deceptive reflections. Seek to calm the pond of your mind. Let its waters still, so it may reflect your true self unclouded. Let go of the stones you throw into it. The stones of anger, fear, and attachment, let them sink, forgotten." The disciples observed the pond, its gentle ripples fading as they considered the weight of Buddha's metaphor and its implications. A young disciple spoke hesitantly. "Master, what if others continue to throw stones into our pond? How can we remain still?" Buddha's smile was kind, his response unfolding gently like the petals of the lotus flowers upon the pond. Patience. Your stillness need not depend on others. The world may throw stones, but your peace is your own. Unshaken. Respond not with retaliation but with understanding. The stones sink because they carry no true weight against the depth of stillness. Each moment. Choose to let go. Do not hold on to the ripples caused by others. They pass, leaving the water calm. True freedom arises when your peace becomes unshakable. When no external disturbance can disrupt the clarity within. The disciples sat in contemplative silence, their hearts stirred by Buddha's words, resonating like echoes across the stillness of the pond. Buddha stepped closer to the water's edge, his reflection joining the myriad images cast upon the surface. And now, I ask, what do you see when you look at yourself? What does the mirror reveal? What truth lies within your reflection? Do not fear what you find, for within lies the power to transform, to let go, and to attain true freedom. Buddha's gaze shifted to the sky, his expression serene, as though seeing beyond what the physical world could offer or contain. The mirror holds no judgment, it simply reflects. The power to cleanse lies within you, within the choices you make daily. Choose peace over pain, love over hatred, understanding over judgment. These choices calm the waters, cleansing the reflection you see. Through clarity and self-awareness, the mirror becomes a tool of liberation, guiding you toward a life free of suffering and toxicity. The disciples bowed their heads in reverence, their spirits uplifted and their minds filled with the wisdom of Buddha's teachings. Under the vast sky, the lotus pond shimmered gently, its surface embracing the quiet beauty of truth reflected upon its stillness. Another day, beneath the vibrant morning sun, Buddha led his disciples to a small wooden cage with a restless bird inside. The cage, crafted from weathered bamboo, stood on the ground. Within it, the bird fluttered, its wings beating against confinement. Buddha's gaze rested upon the cage, his expression serene but touched with compassion as he observed the bird's restless movements. "My dear disciples," Buddha began, his voice calm yet imbued with profound significance, "look at this bird and tell me, what do you see in its actions? What does its fluttering against the cage teach about the nature of suffering?" The disciples watched the bird closely, its desperate movements striking a chord in their hearts as they reflected silently. "Master, the bird appears trapped," one disciple said softly, his tone tinged with sadness and understanding. "It seeks freedom." Buddha nodded, his eyes reflecting both sorrow and wisdom as he acknowledged the disciples' observation. "Indeed, it longs for freedom, but its longing is bound by this cage, an obstacle it cannot overcome without help. Its wings are meant for flight. The cage represents the restrictions we place upon our spirit," Buddha continued, his voice steady and clear like flowing water. "Toxic relationships are like this cage, confining the heart and weighing down the spirit that yearns to soar freely. The bird does not belong in the cage. Its true nature is to fly, to embrace the vast skies with joy." Buddha bent gently, opening the cage's door. The bird hesitated, its wings pausing mid-beat as it sensed the path ahead. "Why does the bird hesitate?" Buddha asked, his question lingering in the air like a soft breeze touching their minds. Another disciple spoke hesitantly, "Master, perhaps the bird fears the unknown. The open sky may seem daunting compared to its confinement." "Correct," Buddha replied with a serene smile. "Familiar pain often feels safer than unfamiliar freedom, even when it offers suffering. This is the paradox of toxic relationships. We cling to them, fearing the void their absence might leave in our lives. Yet, true freedom begins when we open the door to the cage, acknowledging our worth and our right to be free." Buddha stepped aside, motioning toward the open cage. The bird fluttered cautiously, its movements uncertain but imbued with a faint hope. Do you see my disciples? Buddha said. Even when the door is open, the first step toward freedom requires courage. Fear of loss and fear of the unknown chain us as effectively as the bars of this cage confine the bird. To break free, we must first acknowledge the cage exists. Without recognition, we remain trapped, unable to envision life outside. The bird's wings have not forgotten the skies. Likewise, our souls never forget the boundless freedom they were created to experience. Buddha waited silently as the bird began to move closer to the open door. Its small body trembling with hesitant energy. It is not enough to open the door. One must take the step forward, embracing the fear and choosing liberation. The act of release does not reject the past. It simply accepts that the present moment no longer serves the spirit. Letting go is not abandonment but kindness. It acknowledges the truth that freedom benefits both the captive and the captor. The bird suddenly flew, its wings spreading wide as it ascended into the sky, its movements graceful and unbound by fear. The disciples watched in awe, their eyes tracing the bird's flight as it became a speck against the vastness of the horizon. Do you see how the bird soars, unburdened by the confines that once held it back? Buddha asked, his tone contemplative. It no longer clings to the cage, nor does the cage cling to the bird. Both are now free in their nature. The disciples bowed their heads, their hearts filled with the understanding that the cage was as much symbolic as it was literal. Your spirit, like the bird, was not meant to be confined by pain, toxicity, or the fear of letting go. Open the door to your own cages. Free yourselves and others from the cycles of suffering that bind your lives. The vast skies of liberation await those willing to step beyond the confines of their fears. Choosing courage over despair, as you walk this path, remember letting go is not an end but a beginning. It is the first flight of freedom. Buddha's voice softened, resonating like a gentle hymn that touched the deepest parts of the disciples' souls. Awakening clarity and resolve. The choice to free oneself from toxicity requires patience, understanding, and self-compassion. Each step forward brings greater peace and boundless possibilities. Fly like the bird who now embraces the infinite skies. Release the burdens that hold you back. Embrace your true nature. Buddha's words echoed in the tranquil silence, filling the space between them with the promise of liberation and the power of choice. Under the open sky, the disciples felt their spirits lift, unburdened and inspired, their hearts embracing the teachings of compassion and freedom. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.